All right. We're live on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Figured I'd change it up a little. So, I didn't have enough followers on Facebook to go live. Can you believe that? I need 100 followers over on Facebook at CryptoCoffee5555. If you want to go follow me over there, I'll be able to expand my reach to more audiences. Crypto's wrecked. And the one mistake people make a lot of times with crypto being so wrecked is that they think it's only them. I think it's only their coin, and they don't stop and look and realize that crypto's always been connected to the macro conditions. And I'm going to explain that with this exact screen right here. This is all the crypto prices since all-time high. And you can see just how wrecked every single thing is. So allow me just to let people come in and make sure all the streaming is going well. Are we live? Let's see. Yeah. Looks like we're live. I don't know why there's so many variations. It's really annoying. Streamlabs. It's finicky. Can't even tell if we're live on X or Instagram. Let's take a look. Yep, we're live on X. We're not live on Facebook. But we are live on, let's see, Instagram. Go live. Well, I put the stream key in there, so we'll see. Maybe I'm live on Instagram, maybe I'm not. Not a whole lot of crypto followers over on Instagram anyway. What's up, everybody? If you can comment, say hi in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. And we're just going to talk about how wrecked everything is. Look at ICP. Look at Polkadot, Algorand down 97%. You guys remember this one? Gary Gensler coin, Algorand. Remember when Gary Gensler was literally the guy that sued everybody? Operation Choke Point 2.0 guy. He was shilling Algorand like a year before all that. Before the Biden administration turned on all the crypto guys. Part of a big reason why they lost the election. And Algo is down 97% from its all-time high 6 years ago. WorldCoin, Sam Altman. The golden boy. Well, how's World doing? It's down 96.7%. So, you know, if you bought high, you're probably down on crypto over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. Pi Network, Cosmos, Near Protocol down 95%. Aptos, aka Craptos, down 94.7% from all-time high 3 years ago. And I believe the guy behind Aptos was a certain Eric Wall, who loves to trash talk PulseChain, which is also down a similar amount, but it's like, before you trash talk someone else's coin, take a look in the mirror. You know what I mean? Special message for you, little Eric Wall. Staked Wealth says hi. Hello, Staked Wealth. Welcome to being the first commenter. I bet YouTube and X maybe didn't push me because I scheduled a stream 3 separate times by accident. Avalanche AVAX is down 94%. Shiba Inu, premier meme coin, did very well. Actually, Shiba and Hex last cycle were the only 2 coins that did a 10,000x in ROI. 10,000x. The Shiba guys are down 93%. Zcash. Zcash actually made an all-time high 9 years ago. So remember the recent Zcash pump? I'm sure you do. But it's down even more than that when you zoom out. Now let's take a look at the last year. We're still down about 60% in Zcash. But if we take a look at from 2018, well, we're down 92% on Zcash. Now you'll see a lot of these that aren't down so much, and then you notice, why aren't they down? Oh, they're stable coins. So if a stable coin went from $1.02 to 98 cents, then yeah, it's going to be down only like 10% or something. Dogecoin's down 86%. Bitcoin Cash down 86%. Cardano's down 91%. Poor little Cardano. The PulseX decentralized exchange, by the way, does more volume than Cardano's DEX. And PulseChain has more daily active users on the actual chain. Sure, Cardano, yeah, they're in some indexes. Charles going around the world, searching for treasure, doing all kinds of weird side quests, big brain nerd stuff, doing live streams. It's like, It's just different narratives that people fall into. The Cardano guys like tech jargon, and PulseChain guys just like the truth. Let's get to the point. All this tech is good enough, far better than Bitcoin, PulseChain, Ethereum. But people are actually using PulseChain more than Cardano that's been out for 6+ years. Pretty remarkable. Needless to say, they're both down 90+%. And you might ask why. And it's not because of any particular, the founder needs to stream more, we're not doing enough in here or there. Sure, I guess we could market our way out of all this if we shill hard enough, but PulseChain is shilling pretty much as hard as I've seen any crypto community organically shilling. Organic promotion, marketing, all grassroots, and still, you can't overpower the Federal Reserve. You can't make them lower rates faster. So you just got to be patient, and unfortunately that's the strategy. The more you try to exert your will on stuff you can't control what Trump is going to say tomorrow to shock the markets. You can't control Jerome Powell, whether he decides to be dovish or hawkish. Eric needs to be trolled a bit on that. Yes, he does. Let's go back to Craptos. Hey, Eric Wall. I thought you were shit talking PulseChain, huh? I guess I haven't heard from him in a while because I blocked him. But basically what Eric Wall does, sad little boy, is that he tries to cover up for his own failures. He had Arcane Capital, his fund that went bust, is no longer. Let me see. And then he pivoted. He was an early investor in Craptos. Generic layer 2. Nobody cares about it. Looking pretty much the same as the PulseChain chart, isn't it? So it's the pot calling the kettle black. Little Ericy Poo. Where you at, bro? Your shit was $17. Now it's $1. But you gonna shit talk PulseChain? It's cope. The people that try to shit on PulseChain the hardest from the outside, every single time, you look into it, every time. Justin Bonds, all these little wormy bundles of sticks, they're all trying to cover up and distract. They're like, look over there. Don't look at my failure. Who's the Bank to the Future guy? Bank to the Future. An online investing platform. Totally defunct. I forgot who was behind this. But let's take a look at the price. Bank to the Future. Can't even really trade it anymore. Oh my god. Fuck Coinbase too. Bank to the Future price. BFT price. Let's take a gander. Oh wow, look at that. Used to be 50 cents. Now it's 1/10 of a penny. It's 1/100th of a penny. Wow. Embarrassing. So it's good to have a wake-up call. Hey look, Wrap Bitcoin's down 44%. Canton, all these other coins. Let me filter again. Uniswap token down 92%. Chronos token's down 92%. Litecoin is down 87%. Litecoin. Caspa, I hear they totally shut their doors, down 84%. Bitcoin Cash down 85%. Bitfinesse, LOL. Simon Dixon, that's right. Bank to the Future was Simon Dixon, OG Bitcoiner. Thanks for jogging my memory, Acid Thunder. Simon Dixon, and they yell and they scream, and they go full retard. Calling Richard Hart the scammer, and PulseChain. Everybody in PulseChain is getting scammed. Yeah, because you guys are all too unaware to realize what you're doing, right? But that's all behind us because we're all in the same boat now. We're all equally wrecked, so you don't even hear people. The tribalism has died down. We fought each other, we imploded. We gave it all up to the corporations. We sold out. And we wasted all of our time degenerate gambling and scamming each other. So, all we have to blame is ourselves. Chainlink down 83%, Aave down 82%, Stellar down 82%, BitTensor down 78%, Pump.Fun token. I want to talk about Pump.Fun. They injected $100 million into Pump.Fun token from their platform fees. $100 million. And they still couldn't get it up. They still couldn't Pump, the Pump token. You can't make this up. This is like the highest revenue generating app in all of crypto. It put Solana on the map. It made it relevant again. It invented the meme coin casino. Pulled in $1 billion of fees. Most of that got dumped because it was in the form of Sol. Basically, sell pressure suppressed the price of Solana. But as a revival attempt, they tried to pump up their token with the buybacks. It did a 4x in maybe a week, and then a month later, it was right back down to where it was before the buybacks. Eric Ball Liquor, LOL. What's good? Checks my pulse. Founder needs to be a household name like Satoshi. Yep. Coffee, can I play some drummer, bass, or trance? I sure can. Let me try to find a playlist for you guys. Huh. Actually, it's going to be hard to mess with the settings live. But let me try to find a royalty-free playlist. Let's see here. Royalty-free. No lyrics. We can't do lyrics, guys. How about this? I don't know, guys. This is pretty distracting right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to spend 20 minutes trying to set music up right now. I miss feeding ducks. TBH, name anything on Solana that's worth noticing. Everything on that chain gives me cancer. Lo-fi heartbeats. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. I want to turn your attention to Fizzjol. Minting Fizzjillionaires. The one little glimmer of hope we got going on today. Up 28% again. Only $11,000 of liquidity. Legendary. Just an organic meme, as far as I know. None of the usual suspects as insiders. Just a nice, good old wholesome Fizzjol at Fizzjol time highs. You love to see it, guys. You'll love to see it. Now we'll see if it keeps pumping. But look, that's what we got to look forward to on PulseChain right now. The other coins, they're not doing too much. Fizzjol time highs. That's all I'm gonna say. Coffee, can I check my mail? I'll get to it after this. You guys are asking me to do things when I'm streaming. Luna says, hey gang, what's up? So Richard Hart's back to shitting on IOTA. This is a good sign, everybody. Nature is healing. If people don't remember from 2017, 2018, he used to call people out. There's a video of him calling out Craig Wright, the guy that faked being Satoshi. He claimed he was Satoshi, then he got sued for it. He's a known liar. His mother called him a liar. He lost the lawsuit against him. He tried to say everybody was libeling him, slandering him, but he just literally made up that he was Satoshi, this guy. Richard Hart called him out to his face on stage in, I don't know where they were, but pretty legendary clip. This was when he was on his streak of calling everything out. So to see him calling out IOTA again, the real ones will remember. If you know, you know. Trash talking IOTA, total vaporware, crap software, no one's really using it. So at least we're wrecked in something that actually has a community. That's the silver lining here. You're wrecked, but you're in a place that's probably going to come back. All these other ones, we're really not sure. Yeah, Solana will come back. Aster, Pump Fund, sure. But will Provenance blockchain, will that ever come back? All these layer 2s that are just going totally bust. Monero. You love to see Monero holding up way better than most. A lot of these are just derivatives of ETH, derivatives of Coinbase, or derivatives of Bitcoin, rather. Reposted the stream. Thanks for the repost, Rocksuge. RH, aka Satoshi, called him out. Ooh, is Richard the real Satoshi? Is Richard Hart the real Satoshi? No, probably not. Gonna go on and guess no, he's not the real Satoshi. Let me see. Let me see if I can do the music. Speakers, collab cam. I also gotta find good music, and all this music kind of sucks. Yeah, that's something I gotta set up ahead of time. You know, it took forever just to figure out how to set up TikTok. And I think I'm not even, like, qualified for TikTok right now. Funkmaster Hex says coffee. Big ups, Crypto Coffee. What's up, Isaiah Cash? Laze Ellers. Lazzy Cash. Great work, Coffee. Thanks, Marcus Roth. Look, if you guys got any questions for me, feel free to ask. ProveX, the beta's out. A lot of people think it's a pretty awesome project. I don't hear as many scam accusations other than, oh, Richard laundered all of his money. Like, he made all of his own money private because it was his money. So, laundering, not really the right word there. Definitely gets people to stop tracking him. And I'm hoping that because of all the Tornado Cash ETH, I'm actually hoping that that benefits the Interpol case. Because the Interpol case, guys, halfway dropped. The red notice, it used to have 2 claims on there. It used to be assault and tax evasion. Now it's only tax fraud. Aggregated tax fraud, whatever that means. They don't know what they're doing. The lawyers seem to be handling it. PulseChain updates, we've got lasso.finance. This is a really cool website. They let you convert all kinds of crypto into basically an off-ramp for your crypto. So you can pay yourself in Venmo, PayPal, USA virtual debit cards, international virtual debit cards, and gift cards. You can buy like a Netflix card or an Uber gift card. And now they accept PulseChain stablecoins, including HexDC, which is a decentralized hex-backed stablecoin. I thought this was an interesting choice. I didn't know why the other stablecoins weren't on there. We've got 3 other ones backed by Pulse, PulseX, and INC token. Very interesting to see HexDC. So I don't know if the Power City team was behind this. If they were, great job, team. But maybe there's some kind of long-term plan there. Like, why would they pick the one that's backed by Hex? Very interesting. Even Richard Hart tweeted about it. So maybe he had something to do with it. I doubt it. You know, sometimes companies just adopt coins because it's good for their business. So one day, maybe we'll all be paying for stuff directly with our prepaid cards from PulseChain. Not right now, because that requires you to sell, you know. I gotta delete this duplicate stream here. What else is new, everybody? What's Richard Hart saying? PulseChain has everything ready to compete at the highest level. This is what real DeFi and crypto looks like. Every other chain is basically corporate crypto at this point. I agree. LibertySwap.finance dropping truth bombs. PulseChain staying true to the cypherpunk roots. That's the real difference about PulseChain. Yep. Everybody sold out, man. Everybody in crypto literally sold out. They forgot why crypto was invented. It's all just a centralized circle jerk grift. But Richard Hart's trying to kill the exchange industry. People blame all the exchanges for 1010, you know, the world's largest liquidation event in crypto. And they blame CZ and they blame Binance, and yet they go back and they trade there every day because they're addicted. Because they think that's the way to make money. App.provex.com, guys. Give it a test. There's a little feedback area on app.provex.com. We can even pull it up. Let's see. Fast Abdul's in the chat, says he's here for the tech. Hex Wizard says hit the like. That's right, guys. Tam, good to see you over on Twitter there. Wall Hexes has joined. What's up, man? Thanks for the repost. The new beta Provex website because of our man Crypto Coffee. Thank you, Last Cash. The Pure Auth extension is not installed. Oh, interesting. So they've got, so they're using the same Pure Auth extension. Basically, there's another web Chrome extension that you're going to have to get. It looks like they're using the same one that Pure.xyz is using. All that it does is it creates a ZK proof of whenever you paid somebody so that the other person can give you the crypto that you paid for using whatever, whatever app you have. Venmo, Revolut, Wise, PayPal, Cash App, Chime, Zelle. Zelle from Citibank, Bank of America, Chase. Pretty cool stuff, guys. Look at that. Clean, looking clean. Which wallet would I recommend for Pulse coins if I had to choose MetaMask or Internet Money? I mean, you could use both. There's really not any huge advantage. If you don't want to be tracked, use Internet Money if it's very important to you that your data is not collected. But if you want design user experience, MetaMask. However, shout out to internetmoney.io, because if you also have their time token, you can promote the wallet. And the more time token is kind of like PulseX, but for the wallet, like the more fees are generated by the wallet, the more they pump the time token with, and you get dividends paid out. They're both good. They've got pros and cons. The only con of Internet Money is really, I feel like they need to raise a little money and hire a UX designer. That's probably it. Because feature-wise, they've got pretty much all the same features. Great to see you, Tam Tam. USDL would be a good one. Aggravated tax fraud means they're mad about it. Yeah, they're aggravated about the tax fraud for sure. Someone's aggravated. Somebody wants their cut of the $1 billion of ETH. I heard Jeffrey Epstein Island is for sale for $125 million. Oh, have you now, Tommy? Tommy69. You thinking about buying it? That's a little out of my budget right now, sir. Not that I'd want it. A lot of bad energy at that island. I bet it's haunted. It's got like the ghost of dead babies. Fuck that island. Everyone streamed played feeding ducks in the early Hex days. That track is ingrained into the fabric of Hexico. Feeding ducks. Alright, I'll take a look at it. Life-changing wealth is when you least expect it. That's right, Apocalypse. Stay focused and composed. Yep, don't lose your mind out there, guys. Step away from the computer. Touch grass if you can. You know, if you're not creating more than you're consuming, you're going to have a bad time. If you pizza when you're supposed to French fry, you're going to have a bad time. Music while talking about what does everyone have, ADD? Thank you, Hexcon. Yeah, well, I used to play music sometimes, and some people liked it. I kind of liked it sometimes, but now it's like I didn't set that up ahead of time. I can't just. Crypto Coffee is my preferred crypto poster. Check out Lassie Cash. All right, go follow Lassie Cash, I guess. Taxation is theft. So I don't care about the red notice anymore. We all can agree on that, I think. Anyone in crypto? Hey guys, I got a question for you. Have taxes made your life better in the last 10 years? What is it about taxes that you love paying so much? What is it providing you? My guess is that most of the benefits in your life come from the private sector. And maybe health insurance, low quality health insurance that doesn't pay for preventative care. Or doesn't ever seem to totally cover what you need when you need it. So yeah, the government clearly has a spending problem, a misallocation of resources problem. Taxing more people at this point doesn't make anything better for the human population. It just chases out more rich people, millionaires and billionaires that would have created more goods and service to make quality of life better. People are literally moving out of the USA to places like Puerto Rico, or like people in the UK are moving to Dubai because they don't want to pay half of their salary just to have, you know, people moving in next door off welfare and having to risk getting stabbed in the middle of the street. Hex Pulse Int Crypto says, I want to use ProveX going forward for any DCA once it's fully launched. Me too. Me too. I was thinking about, you could think about this from the other side as a seller. Let's say you've got stable coins, right? If you can find a good way. For example, Coinbase charges 0 fees to go from dollars into stablecoins, you know? So what if you take, I don't know, $10,000, you make a 2% fee on that, so you make $200. After you sell it all, you transform that USD back into USDC, And because you're a smart crypto guy, you understand how to bridge it and get it back into PulseChain. And then you just rinse, repeat. If you can drive more volume, it almost is like you can benefit directly from being a seller as well, not just a buyer. You can kind of just rotate the money around. I'd probably say you'd want to use a business account. Look, none of this is advice. You know, you might get your accounts banned if it's too suspicious. So, but if you use PayPal or like Cash App or Venmo, I would probably say to get like a business account so you at least look like you're supposed to be doing that frequent of transactions as a seller. If you're just a buyer, it's like whatever. But if you're just a regular person and all of a sudden you've got 1,000 transactions in a month, that could raise a red flag at whatever individual fintech. Why do we even need taxes other than control if the government can print money anyway? Yeah, well, they do print money. They spend it however they want. They let all their buddies eat at the top. And it doesn't really trickle down. Then they print it for the underclass who gets addicted to the welfare state, who continues to vote for the elites because they're the ones funding their free lifestyle. Hex Pulse and Crypto says, create more programs people can abuse with fake kids at daycares funded by proper taxpayer LMAO. I think the fake kids at the daycares is the tip of the iceberg. I wonder what that kid's up to. The guy that made the YouTube video. You know what I'm talking about. The Somali guy, the guy that called out all the Somalis for the daycares in Minnesota. For like Tim Walls. So he made that video and then he said he was going to California. I wonder if he's made any new content. Hey! Super chat at $5. Apocalypse. Win Hex Moon. Don't complain about I coulda, shoulda. These prices are gift and opportunities. I agree. Apocalypse. Bro, tell your opinion on liquid loans. Well, liquid loans is a perfect example of raising too much money in a bull market. What happened when PulseChain raised too much money in a bull market? Now, liquid loans, did they deliver their product? Yes. Does the product work totally fine? Yes. Does the loan token ideally earn you revenue without even having a price? Yes, it does, because if you stake the loan token, you earn fees from onboarding people into liquid loans. So some people say, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. Maybe they should have put up a little more liquidity. Maybe they took a little bit too much for themselves. But look, it's their money. So it was a sacrifice. We all got to take personal ownership on that one. Yeah, I know people that ask me probably want me to like point fingers and blame, but I'm a personal responsibility kind of guy. Look, they raised too much money. We gave them too much money for a liquidity fork that probably wasn't worth $40 million, $50 million. But the product works fine. The CEO Crazy and the other guy Coinwell or whatever, CoinZoom, they seem to be promoting PulseChain and all this stuff at conferences worldwide. I don't think they've actually gone anywhere. And if people didn't dump their loan token, well, then you wouldn't have a chart that looks like that, but everyone dumped. So do you want to blame someone else for the fact that everybody wanted quick, easy money for dumping their loan token when they could have staked it in the protocol and used it as an unofficial affiliate program to generate more excitement, more revenue for liquid loans? Again, all we've got to do is, all we have to blame is ourselves on that one. Overinvested, market went down, people are selling into very, very thin liquidity, and they don't understand that the loan token actually has a utility, which is to stake it in the protocol. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Lesson learned. Lassie Cash said, "So me text blockchain plus 50% APY on pool." Well, thanks for the 20, whatever those are. Liquid Loans have their own YouTube channel. Check it out. Yeah, if you want to hear more about Liquid Loans, they have coinzoom.io. They've done a lot of marketing. But of course, everyone dumped their bag and they want someone to blame. Just like everyone that dumped their PulseChain at the lows wants to blame Richard Hart when they're the one that clicked sell. Now, did they raise too much money? Yes. That's what happens when you raise in euphoria. Lesson learned. Nick Sorter, I don't know who that is. Cali Crypto says it's time to move on. From what? Liquid loans? Yeah, okay. Hex Paulson's Crypto says, Bitfinesse, can we get to that crypto too. Ovidian Hex says, wish we had a PulseChain foundation. I'm building stuff on PulseChain. No sack, not a penny taken from the community. That's the problem, right? All these foundations, for the most part in crypto, where do they get their money from? Where does the Ethereum Foundation get their money? Well, okay, yeah, they get donations. I mean, Bitcoin Core got donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, donations is one. I don't know a whole lot of rich donors out there other than maybe a few that would want to put money into PulseChain initiatives. But here's the thing. Most of the time, foundations in crypto, they dump the coins. So if there was like a section of Pulse coins locked off for a foundation, well, if you got to pay people salaries, you're basically hurting the price. That's been a criticism too, I guess, of the PulseChain not having a foundation like everybody else. But look at all the coins that do have foundations. It's not like their charts look any better. Incentivizing builders, I understand. I wish we could incentivize builders to come over here. But the ones that are committed, that see the vision, it's almost self-selecting. It's like the cream rises to the top, because if you're self-motivated, if you're building an app that generates revenue, like look at Liberty Swap, right? They built an app that generates revenue, and they took it upon themselves to shill, to tweet, to go hard on the marketing, and to even make a meme coin. And in a way, they have more potential to profit from that meme coin by getting everyone on board, everyone rallying behind them, and by making a product that actually does something valuable, that generates fees. So, you know, there's a lot of people that want a $50,000 check for some generic project that doesn't really do anything. Now, Ovidian, I'm not saying, I mean, I'm sure your project is interesting, but if you want to raise money, you can do the typical circuits. If people want to raise money for their projects, they can go out to conferences. They can go out to VC investor pitches. Go to Miami. They're always pitching to VCs. There's always VCs. Like, people don't realize how many rich people are out there. You can go get their money if you have a good idea. Take AI. Ask AI to go make you a deck that explains your concept. Go pitch it to 100 different people. One of them will probably throw a little money at it. I need Hex to be $1 for a tattoo. I made a bet with some friends. Funny you say that, Tommy. I need Hex to be $1 too. I made a bet with the entire internet. DKK, thank you again. So did we sack too much for PulseChain and PulseX? Yeah. Yeah, we did. Clearly we did. We could have just bought the dip. Fizzjaw is back. Mr. Proof, Fizzjaw is back too. I will rebuy Hex for sure. Oh, here's somebody crying about buybacks. Wah, wah. Bro, I can point to you all kinds of other chains. Jupiter, Pump, even Hyperliquid. They've done millions and millions of buybacks, and it doesn't make the price much better. But have fun. Have fun crying. Nick Sorter, the one reporting on Leering Centers. Oh yeah, Nick Sorter's that guy, huh? Woogie reposted the stream. True, we build better if it comes from the heart. Yo, Coffee. I think the EP files will help a run on DeFi. Not sure why that would help DeFi. But I mean, look, if you want to get away from all that mess. Cali Crypto. What other people in crypto getting rich? Everyone is wrecked. Good point, Acid Thunder. Ovidian Hex says, thanks for the tips, brother. Inflation spreads like sawdust, overflows and gets deployed into low liquidity. It's financial diffusion, too many dollars out there. Can I please switch to dark modes at all times? I am so blind. I have this theory about light mode that it captures more attention. I'm going to do light mode because I think it stops people from scrolling. Because if everyone's on dark mode and you're on light mode, I want to be an eyesore. There's been many coins made in profit that have made profit. Pulse has done nothing. How about coins on Pulse? Yeah, sure, Callie. Let's just focus on the couple coins that went up. That sounds like a great strategy. Yes, I'm going to keep believing. I'm going to keep believing in the thing I've been doing consistently and prove everybody that long-term holding pays off. You keep chasing. You keep making yourself a little sad boy. What up, Coffee? You going to make a dedicated short-form tutorial for ProveX? I guess so. I guess I could. Could make a little short form tutorial. I mean, it's still in beta, so I don't really want to tell anyone to go use it because what if they lose money? World Liberty Finance made me a big bag. Yeah, made me a little bit of money too. But you can only sell 20% of it. I still got 80% of my WLFI locked up, so hopefully whenever they release the rest of the tokens, y'all want me to do dark mode? How about no? How about my stream? I feel PulseX has higher X potential than PLS. What's your opinion on that? Yes, it does, in my opinion. Because you have to pump PLS on the way to getting to PulseX. I think Hex and PulseX actually probably have higher potential, in my opinion. They have less liquidity tied to all the way back to stablecoins. Think of it this way. What if Richard Hart took your coins and invested them in ETH for you because you would have been too paper-handed to hold through all this anyway? And then what if he does buybacks when the time is actually right, as in Ethereum actually goes to a new all-time high? Everyone's begging for buybacks when ETH is like 50% down from its all-time high. Man, the faster you can get around that begging mentality, the happier you'll be. I promise you that. Yeah, wait till beta is over for any video on ProveX. Okay. Cool, guys. What else is going on? Liberty Swap's collaborating with CoinMarketCap to verify Peacock supply by developing a dedicated API that enables CoinMarketCap to query real-time supply data. This will allow Peacock burns to be reflected instantly. Marcus says, what about INC? Hey, Callie. Guess who's going to be a new hater? You are. All right. What Brett EP, the PulseChain developer, says, hey, NFL, I'm not a sports enthusiast, but I've heard you're targeting viewers outside the USA. Interestingly, football outside the United States will always be played with a soccer ball. Appears that someone made a mistake. This is in regards to Bad Bunny. Pretty sure they tried to get the Latin America fan base to watch football for once. And they still didn't seem to care that much. I mean, Bad Bunny, I guess, did a little bit. Is Richard Hart trying to tell us something with his latest tweet? If it's not X, then Y? Prove it's X, prove X? No. Bro, y'all, I mean, people read way too much into Richard's tweets. He's just saying that there's speech patterns in the default ChatGPT responses that you could tell when something's copy-pasted from LLMs, okay? Like, you know, that's not a X, that's a Y. That's like the classic hook ending for any ChatGPT-generated tweet. Hey guys, follow me over on Facebook at CryptoCoffee5555. Are you ready? Are you locked in? Hey, shout out to Hex Steak Play, by the way. This guy started a streaming channel, already got 500 followers. He just streams himself playing video games and occasionally talks about PulseChain. Cool idea. PulseChain tablets are underway. Hexologist says he's actually getting excited about PulseChain and the future of it now. Good to see. Good to see. Let's hop over to Streamlabs. Why is PulseChain down? It's all Richard's fault. Wah. Criminals. Shout out to Tangent, who called out the Lasso.finance credit cards today. Talk about stablecoin battle between banks and Coinbase. Stablecoin battle. Well, yeah, Coinbase wants there to be stablecoins because they want stablecoins to be able to pay yield. And banks don't want that because they want to be the only people that can issue yield. They want you to hold their coins and leave them at the bank. And Coinbase says, well, we want to pay a yield generating stablecoin and be able to share our yield with like all of our holders. They want to play the same game that banks do. And banks say, no, that would be competition. We don't want that. It's all just like centralized finance guys arguing over each other when we've got decentralized stablecoins that work today. Or even better, decentralized coins that aren't stable that can actually go up in price. Like, everybody only wants stablecoins so they can buy something that's not stable, so it actually goes up. A stablecoin can't pump. Stablecoins, they're trying to force it as a mainstream narrative because it expands dollar dominance. But the whole point of crypto was to replace the dollar. Now, to replace the dollar, you need to get rid of your dollars and buy stuff that goes up faster. So it's a necessary evil. Was literally just watching Hexstake play channel right before I came here. Like, he was showing me about how we only need 7.5 million of buy pressure. Yeah, it's true. You really only need 10 million bucks would 100x the prices, guys. But you can't do that right now because, as Richard showed everybody with his $2 million buy about a month ago, people forget this. Richard literally bought 1.8 million of PulseX a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Doesn't matter. And within a couple days, everybody else sold it right back down. Every other pleb, every other paper-handed little pleb. So timing matters. You can't just pump things against sentiment. You can't fight the Fed. You can't overpower the macro. And if people are bearish, they're going to dump and take advantage of everybody that tries to give them a God candle. So it's much more effective, in theory, to save that financial energy for explosive growth when the timing is right, when sentiment turns around. You don't like waiting this long? Leave. Get out. Less dead weight on the way up. CBDCs are a less restrictive EBT card. We do not want CBDCs. Yeah, I mean, CBDCs are already here. I don't know how true that is, but it's impressive. How true what is? Let's all buy like 1,000 bucks worth. We can do it. Yeah, guys, everybody, let's go click the buy button at the same time. Ready? Let's all coordinate our buys. Surely nobody will try to sell into us. What are we waiting for to start pumping? Generally, just macro conditions to get better. Lower Fed rates, the Clarity Act to go into effect, stimulus checks to go up. Everybody gets helicopter money. Yeah, Interpol dropping and RH live streaming will help. ProveX will help. All that stuff is in the micro, though. The macro matters more. So, crypto's always been correlated to global liquidity. Global liquidity is picking back up. The PMI has been below 50 for the longest span of time in history, 38 months in a row. I wish we didn't have to care about these macro things, but we do. Yeah, I wish it was as simple as, oh, Richard could just live stream and the price would go up. But if Richard live streamed right now, mark my words, we'd probably get like a 2-day pump and then we'd be like dumping again. And Richard probably understands this, which is why he's building instead of marketing. And he's also probably laying low, is my guess. Probably laying low for any Interpol type things. Yeah, so we're maybe 3 to 6 months away from a new Federal Reserve chair in May, who's going to then lower the rates. He's going to be dovish, just like Trump wants. The Clarity Act is going to allow trillions of dollars. BlackRock is going to tokenize everything. And all this sentiment's going to change on a dime. I don't know if it's going to happen in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. I'm going to be here. And I'm not really going to pay attention to anyone bitching and moaning. Because you just got to wait. Unfortunately, that's the strategy, guys. Diamond hands. The longer you hold, the more you make. That's the plan. PulseX will rip. Coffee's been a rock. Well done, buddy. Thank you, Big Crypto. Everyone needs to feel richer. Yeah, exactly. When they feel rich, they have money. They feel like they have money to spend. When ETH is $7,000, oh, you're going to look for the next best thing. You're going to say, that was great. Now what can I invest in to make me even more money? So just like fear is a negative feedback loop, greed is a price positive feedback loop. I've been a part of these cycles before. I understand how they are. We never really truly had an altcoin season. We never did. We had a meme coin season because Trump coin from the world's most famous man, it still didn't bring any new people in. Brought in like 1% new people. Bitcoin went up 5x on institutional money. That wasn't retail buying, guys. Bitcoin went up on BlackRock buying and the US government buying. The only people excited about Bitcoin for the last couple of years, basically institutions. Who you hear about getting rich on Bitcoin? Guys that bought it 10 years ago and institutions. Joe Schmo that bought Bitcoin at 30K, rode it to 90. He's not financially free. Hey, he made a good trade, but his 3x isn't going to change his life. Bitcoin miners are shutting down less efficient miners. This has been a signal in past cycles. Buy every few weeks. Every little bit helps at these prices. Yeah, it sucks, guys. I don't enjoy it either. Printer needs to go burr before RH pumps it. Surely, you must be kidding. No, I'm not kidding. And don't call me Shirley. I'm 6 years in, ride or die, yeah. I'm 11 years in. There's no other way, in my opinion. I'm tired, boss. We're all tired, boss. Little bites add up to a mouthful. What's up, Hexico? What's up, Kryptonite? One bank is starting to use PulseChain rails. Yeah. One bank. And now even National Trust banks can issue stablecoins. So get ready for it. It's got to be resilient, guys. This is why not everyone's rich in crypto. Like, I know if it's your first cycle, like, you're probably thinking, oh, this is never going to go up. The stuff that's going to go up is the stuff that's relevant. So keeping PulseChain relevant is really the priority. Because you got to realize that Bitcoin is like $2,000. Bitcoin's down 60% from its all-time highs right now. 60%. Ethereum is down 60% from its all-time highs. Maybe Bitcoin's down 55%. Everything's wrecked. Cat's Kitchen says, hey, coffee. Manitalk says, never give up. Street Guru says, we've won. We just got to wait for the right crisis to deploy and be needed. I like that mentality, Street Guru. That's how I feel too. You know, people don't have to believe it. Those are the people that don't believe are the people that create the tops and that sell the bottoms. I like the PulseChain, Chainlink, face turquoise. Oh, I'm reading your emojis because they're not coming through. Let's see here. Any good news in the crypto ecosystem? Richard Hart launches beta for ProveX. We know this. Any good crypto news? Bitcoin's complexity sparks debate among supporters and skeptics. Wow, slow day, huh? This is the best news we got. Sony, a vocal Bitcoin fan, posted on Sunday that he's accepted Bitcoin's complexity for many amid its drop from October. Critics like Peter Schiff call it overcomplicated, while Gold labeled it as a dollar derivative. Defenders compared it to early email and pointed to rising adoption. Over 5,300 merchants are now accepting it. The exchange highlights tensions over self-custody, volatility, and whether Bitcoin can evolve to everyday money. Like, there's always going to be people out there that think, oh, it's too much responsibility for me to write down 12 words on a sheet of paper. Those people aren't going to be late. Those people aren't going to be early to crypto. They're going to be the late adopters. It's like, oh, I'm too scared to put my credit card into the Pizza Hut website. It's like, okay, but eventually the world's going to move on. Halo taught us how to believe. Did it? Halo didn't teach me. I mean, Halo taught me hand-eye coordination, I guess. The things ProveX is advertising is bullish. Yeah, we're basically in the final Halo cutscene. We're driving the Warthog off the cliff, trying to land it in the... What was that big ship called? Not the Banshee. It was like a giant mothership. I saw gaming, healthcare, real estate, legal services, etc. The things ProveX is advertising is bullish. Oh, look. Yeah, you're talking about the ZK technology in general. Yeah, the ZK tech in general is bullish. ZK tech it has use cases beyond just OTC. So it's really the tip of the iceberg here. Anyone that's going to build on top of the private prover tech that underlies ProveX is also going to buy and burn the token every time fees are generated. So it incentivizes more people to build apps, I think. We'll see if there's some kind of public SDK or some kind of API or something. It'd be really neat. Slow day in crypto. Coinbase Super Bowl ad. It's so funny how normies get triggered by crypto when it goes down. And then they're going to beg to buy when it goes back up. When it goes back up. You're telling me the whole world's stablecoins are launching on Ethereum. Hundreds of $1 trillion are being tokenized on chain, and Ethereum's not going to make a new all-time high? It's not going to happen overnight. I know it's been brutal, guys. It's been tough. Bitcoin's at $70,000. Jeez. Jesus Christ. Great news. PulseChain has great builders. So much is in the pipeline. I agree. I don't really watch anything by Maria or anything with that LARP, QAnon style BS. I don't believe it. It's just a waste of time. Yeah, it might pump because people still believe in QAnon. Like, PDI is literally QAnon for crypto bros. Replace Trump with Richard Hart, and that's what you have. That's going to trigger like half the community. Reet! PDI, reet! Michael Saylor's strategy buys 1,142 Bitcoin worth $78 million. Vitalik said L2s are dead. I agree. I'm going to get RH ranked properly. Let's see it. The gas fees on ETH will activate PLS when the trillions flow in. Sure. All sounds good to me. Look, Trump really wants to pass this clarity bill. White House to hold a second meeting about stablecoins. No news. Arthur Hayes is bullish. That's good. Well, we're almost at an hour. We're going to call it quits today, guys. Hang in there. Don't sell your future. Or do. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Or don't. Or unfollow me if you don't like it. You don't like the optimism? Unfollow me. Street Guru, thanks for reading the comments. My pleasure. Bank prefer PulseChain over XRP. That's probably not true. Maybe one day. The clarity bill needs to go out. Yes, it will. It will soon enough. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for making the stream interesting. See you on the next one.